All right, happy Saturday, everybody. Hopefully, you're having a fantastic day. We've got a full 15-game MLB slate. We're going to talk about every game as always, and I've got 5 best bets for you guys. All right, so let's recap yesterday. So we went 2-3. So we had the Reds +2 and Kyle Tucker to get a hit. Reds won pretty convincingly. Well, it seemed convincingly. Then the bullpen let them come back a little bit, but Kyle Tucker did not get us a hit. We had the Tigers on the money line, cash that for us. We had the Nats and the D-backs over 8.5. This one hit real quick. This was about as sweat-free bet as you could have. And then we had Merrill Kelly under 18.5 outs and the D-backs to win. D-backs could not get the job done. Merrill Kelly ended up going 5 innings, so that part was sweat-free. And we had the Angels and Guardians over 8. They both sucked offensively. I wouldn't say that. Angels got a ton of hits. They left 8 or 9 on base, and the Guardians just couldn't get anything across either. So, 2-3. So we will move forward. All right. So let's talk about game 1 here. It's going to be the Reds and the Cubs again, kicking us off at 220. I don't think this line's correct. It's Nick Lodolo going up against Drew Pomeranz. Now, Pomeranz hasn't gone more than 1 inning all season. So this is a staffed game for them. Obviously, they've got a decent amount of injuries with Steele out, Assad, just so many pitching injuries. So staff game for them, but the bullpen's been really good. Last 30 days, they've got a 2.58 ERA. It's third best in baseball. Reds started off hot with the pen, but they've really cooled off. We saw it yesterday. Abbott just pitched an absolute gem. Just so good. And then turns it over to Tony Santillan. He gives up like 3 or 4 hits. They bring in Graham Ashcraft. He gets out of a jam and then gets hit in the 9th. They have to bring in Pagan to close the game. But 4.68 ERA puts them at 23rd over the past 30 days. But you got Nick Lodolo on the bump, the lefty. I like Lodolo. Lodolo on the road is where I like him. I don't like him at home. He gets rocked a little bit at GABP. But all my issues really are him giving up the long ball. But we've got the wind blowing in at 8 miles an hour. Home runs, they're going to be sparse today. It's blowing in straight from center field. Could potentially get up to 13 miles an hour blowing in. So it's going to be a low-scoring affair. I would lean Reds in this one again. Maybe Reds first 5, just take Lodolo versus whoever pitches for him in the first 5. Reds first 5 or the under 7.5. I do think it is going to be a low-scoring affair. So that's where I'm at with this one. But the Cubs they bounce back really good after a loss. They're 16-5 this season after a loss. Reds after a win are 14-14. On the road as dogs, though, the Reds are 11-10. So there's that, but the Cubs at home as favorites are 16-8. So a lot of this points towards the Cubs. It's a pretty egregious line, but like I said, Reds first 5. We do see some pretty uneven money splits here. So you've got 85% of the bets are on the Cubs, but only 58% of the money. So there's a lot of sharp money on the Reds today, which makes sense. And then there's a lot of sharp money on the under. So I do agree with both of those. All right, next game is going to be the A's and the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are just opening it up offensively. I feel like we're due for some offensive regression here. Now, I'm not real sure. Ballpark Pal has the roof open. I don't think this roof opens. I didn't investigate it because I'm not betting it, but I would lean towards the under 9. I think Hoagland should be able to somewhat keep this offense in check. Not a game I'm going to bet. I can't back the A's here. So probably a Blue Jays win. Braden Fisher, I don't know a lot about this guy. We got very minimal information. He's only thrown 7 innings this year. Has struck out 10 in those 7 innings, but not a lot of info to go on here. Just a very soft lean towards that under. All right, White Sox and the Orioles. We got Davis Martin going up against Dean Kramer. Kramer's been getting creamed at home. Got a 6 ERA in 8 home starts. Davis Martin's got a 4.00 ERA and 5 away starts. Dean Kramer, 6.07 and 8 home starts. I think I said away there. Orioles are coming off a win yesterday. It didn't look great, barely beat them. If you were on the White Sox run line, congratulations. Benintendi came up with a big hit in the top of the ninth to keep that in check. So I like the White Sox here today. I think you're getting value to take the White Sox. I'll be honest. In game 2 of a series, this team's been terrible. Orioles team has been absolutely terrible in game 2 of a series. They are 3-15 straight up in game 2 of a series. White Sox are 5-13. So you've got a team that's technically performed better in game 2 of a series, going up against a pitcher that sucks. It's White Sox or pass for me in this one. I would actually lean towards the under as well. Both of these teams do skew towards the under, but can I really put my money behind the White Sox? Probably not. What's great, I didn't even notice this until now. 80% of the money is on the White Sox as well. So pretty sharp there on the White Sox today, which I'm aligned. I just can't get behind Kramer in this one. I think Davis Martin pitches somewhat serviceable, and I would have a lean towards the under as well. All right, next game. Brewers and the Phillies. Jesus Luzardo going up against Chad Patrick. Chad Patrick's been good at home, not so good on the road in 5 away games. Got a 4.12 ERA. Luzardo's 2.29 at home in 6 starts. Hate the pitch splits here for Chad Patrick. I got to assume Harper's got to come back in this series. He was listed as day-to-day. Didn't play in the doubleheader. Didn't play yesterday, so he sat out 2 games with that elbow contusion where Strider hit him with a pitch. Got to go Phillies here. A couple of stats here that are just really crazy. In game 2 of a series this season, the Phillies are 16-2 on the year. They are 13. I want to say on the run line, they're 13-5 this season. So taking the Phillies on the run line would not be a bad bet. They've lost 2 in a row, but they're 7-3 in their last 10. Brewers have won 5 straight, also 7-3 in their last 10. But Phillies are 8-2 this season after losing a home game. And then with Jesus Luzardo pitching after a loss, they're 3-0. So nothing here has me behind the Brewers. We kind of see it with the splits here. Phillies run line is not a bad way to play. We're going to take them in a parlay, but I'll probably also play them run line as a straight bet. All right, next game, Cardinals and the Rangers. I mean, if you had the Rangers just opening up a can out of nowhere, congratulations, I guess. But I think the Cardinals was the correct side to be on yesterday for the value. It didn't pan out. We didn't have it as an official play, but it was a play I had personally. Today we get Sonny Gray going up against Patrick Corbin. So we do have a pitching disparity here. Sonny Gray, though, on the road hasn't been fantastic. He's been downright awful, to be honest. 6.75 ERA and 3 away starts. It's heavily skewed on one really bad start, though. Patrick Corbin, 4.44 ERA and 5 home starts. Can't really get behind Corbin here. I mean, we saw this offense yesterday, but the Cardinals have been hitting lefties all season. They've actually been scorching hot against lefties over the past week, hitting .355. One of the things the Cardinals do when Sonny Gray pitches, they give him runs, averaging 7 runs a game when he pitches. Rangers are averaging 3.89. Game 2 of a series, Cardinals are 11-7 this season. They're 12-6 to the run line. So they have been destroying teams by a pretty good margin when they do win on those days. So it's a Cardinal spot for me. Do I want to pay this price? No, I really don't. Minus 138's not terrible on FanDuel. It's like minus 148 on DraftKings. So Cardinals or nothing here for me in this one. Don't mind looking at the over, but again, just not at a point where I can trust the Rangers to score a bunch of runs. Kind of an interesting fact, though. When the Rangers do score more than 8 runs, they've actually have a decent record of winning that next game. But yeah, behind Corbin, I just can't get there. Next game on the card is going to be the Rockies. Let's skip it. We're not there yet. Tampa Bay and Houston. Okay, so there is a play I like in this one. Where the hell's the Rockies-Mets game? Okay, it comes up later. Tampa Bay and Houston. So in this one, we've got Zach Littell going up against Colton Gordon, I do believe. Got to find the game here. So many 4-10 games. Yeah, Colton Gordon going up against Zach Littell. Gordon's been okay. He's got 14 innings under his belt, 14 Ks. He has given up some runs, so he's got a 5.52 ERA, but he has an expected ERA of 2.75. So we should see some positive regression. I like a lefty here against this Tampa Bay lineup. Pretty wild stat here. So I think the Rays win. I would lean towards the Rays. Astros had to pull off some heroics last night. A hell of a game by Framber Valdez. Pitched a complete game in under 90 pitches. Absolutely wild. But these two teams in game 2 of a series are woefully towards the under. Combined 76% of their game 2 game. Yeah, let me rephrase that. Good Lord. 76% of their games have gone under in game 2 of a series. So they're 9 for 29 to the under. So they've only gone over in 9 of 38 games. Give me the under 8.5. I like taking unders at this park anyway. I was already leaning kind of towards it. Found that stat. I'm like, Jesus, that's crazy. 76% of games have gone under in game 2 of a series combined for these two. So give me the under as an official play here. Do lean Rays on the money line. Next one, we've got Boston and Atlanta. So that's going to be Spencer Schwellenbach going up against Walker Buehler. Buehler's looked really good. Got to admit it. He is starting to return back to that 2019 form. Not quite there, but he's been pitching really, really well. He has been injured, though, so we got minimal starts. I think he's made 1 start since he got injured. 5.28 ERA on the road in 3 games. Schwellenbach at home hasn't been great. He's got like a 5 ERA and 4 home starts. I lean towards the over in this one. Would be my best bet. And in terms of who wins it, I think plus 142 for the Red Sox it's pretty juicy. I think minus 170 for a Braves. I don't know if I can get behind that. So it'd be Red Sox or the over for me in this game, but probably not a game I have a bet on, to be honest with you. All right, Giants and the Marlins. We've got Robbie Ray going up against Edward Cabrera. This one should be an interesting game. We've got an over-under of 7.5. My first instinct was just take the over. At this park, overs are pretty profitable. But I think Robbie Ray is able to really contain this Marlins lineup. They've been struggling to hit lefties, hitting 214 over the past 2 weeks, 194 over the past week. Edward Cabrera, definitely pitching better, just not a dude I can trust. So it's a giant spot for me. We're just going to throw him in a parlay here with the Mets is kind of how we're going to play this. But can't really get behind, this Marlins team. Can't get behind Cabrera. Can't get behind the bullpen. There's probably some sharp money in taking the Marlins at plus 145 at home, but I just can't get there with Robbie Ray on the bump. He's been excellent this year. All right, next game, Detroit and Kansas City. We were on Detroit yesterday. Now you've got Skubal going up against Waka. It's a pretty big pitching disparity. I just weird gut feeling that the Royals win this game. I'm staying off of it. I think it's going to be, I don't know. There's 2 leans I had in this one. Royals money line or the over. So I kind of want to take the over. Not sure if I can get there. We did see a decent amount of runs scored last night. We've got okay weather in this one. It's going to be 85 degrees with a 7-mile-an-hour wind blowing left to right. 14% chance of rain, so very low precipitation chance. Skubal's been on an absolute tear. Royals haven't been great against lefties. I mean, there is nothing that says take the over in this one. It's just, I don't know how to play this. It's Royals. Yeah, I don't know. For this price, I just can't get behind the Tigers. And if you take the first 5, it's like minus 200. Now, a pretty good play. You can take the Tigers on the first 5 minus a half for like minus 110, minus 120. It's pretty good. If you think Skubal absolutely dominates, which he should, I've just got this weird feeling that the Royals pull out a win today. So I'm going to avoid this game. But if you want to bet the Tigers, I think there is a ton of valid reasons to bet them today. All right, next one's going to be the Angels. And the Guardians, going to be Slade Cecconi going up against Kyle Hendricks. We see the Guardians on a pretty steep line here, which kind of makes sense because Kyle Hendricks is not good. That said, do I trust the Guardians? They're 9-8 in game 2 of a series so far this year, but the Angels haven't fared too good. They're 8-10. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing here that makes me want to get behind either team, to be honest. It's Angels or nothing for me in this spot. I just don't know if I can get there, but Slade Cecconi's look fantastic. That's my only concern. I feel like he should pitch worse than what he is, but he's actually been pitching really well, and Kyle Hendricks on the road has been a tragedy. 6.37 ERA and 6 away starts. Just not a dude I can get behind. That said, he's been much stronger against lefties than righties, and that's what you have to look at when you're handicapping the Guardians is how do they pitch against lefties. Got a 213 average to lefties, 310 average to righties. Cecconi has definitely been more susceptible to the left-handed side, giving up a 294 average as opposed to 192 from the right-handed side. Maybe an under in this one, but we do have the wind blowing in quite a bit. So I would kind of lean towards the under, but not going to bet it. It's the only way I would play this game. But like I said, Angels are nothing. Guardians got to prove something there in that game. All right, next one's going to be the Rockies and the Mets. I mean, this Mets team's not great right now, but this Colorado team is just so much worse. Senzatella going up against Senga. I mean, you can't have a more lopsided pitching matchup than what you're getting here. But where do you find value? Where do you find value when the Mets are minus 400? I don't mind the run line. I think the run line, you're going to pay a hefty price, but in terms of getting smacked, just in game 2 of a series, the Rockies are 3-15 to the run line. So I think it's a fairly safe play, I guess. Problem is the Mets are 7-11, but they should be able to get to Senzatella. If he's like the worst pitcher in the majors. Nerfy's still in play in this one. I don't necessarily mind the Nerfy, but Senzatella giving up a 4.23 average to lefties, 3.10 to righties, got a 5.5 ERA on the road. Senga 2.1 at home. I don't know. There is a ton of value to take the Rockies at +3 whatever. Plus 330 on DraftKings right now. There is some value there, but not a bet I'll take. All right, next one is going to be Minnesota and Seattle. This is going to be Bailey Ober going up against Bryce Miller. Should be an interesting game. I will tell you, Twins are one of the better teams when it comes to game 2 of a series. They have a very, very good win record. They're 12-5 on the season in game 2 of a series, 13-4 on the run line. We get an over-under of 7. Over 7 is kind of where I lean. I don't know if the dome is going to be open or closed. It did look like it was going to be open, and it's going to be kind of a cool day with the wind blowing in. So if you're going to bet that game, you can go on their website and check. But yeah, it's the Twins or the over for me is the only way I would lean in this one. All right, next game is going to be the Yankees and the Dodgers. What a game last night. What a game. And I even said in the video, I really like the over. I should have just banged it because that was free. Nice little comeback by the Dodgers there to get the win. It looked like the Yankees were going to dominate them at first. I think Shohei hit 2 home runs. Judge hit a home run. There were so many home runs in that game. Very similar weather tonight. And we get two pitchers that are highly susceptible to giving up some runs, I think. Landon Knack has a 1.84 home runs per 9. That's really bad. Going up against Will Warren, who lately has been on an absolute tear. He's been pitching extremely well. I lean Yankees here. I don't really see a spot where I want to take the Dodgers. So it's Yankees or the over is the only way I would play this. But the only way I play this is if the over comes down to 9 instead of 9.5. I do think Warren pitches decent. Yankees team total over would be something I would be okay taking. You can get over 4.5 at like -110, -120. Going up against Landon Knack, I don't trust Landon Knack. I can't stand Landon Knack. 325 average against righties, does okay against lefties. Warren kind of about the same against both, but this Dodgers offense is just built a little bit different. So I do think he gets touched up tonight. I think there's value taking the Yankees at plus 102 tonight. On the bounce back, after a loss this season, Yankees are 14-6. After a win, Dodgers are 21-13. My only problem is on the road as dogs this season. The Yankees are 0-3. Dodgers at home as favorites are 19-8 on the season. So there is some data that kind of works against that pick. All right, next one's going to be Pittsburgh. And the Padres going to be Dylan Cease going up against Bailey Falter. Both of these guys pitched against the respective teams earlier in the month in that series in Pittsburgh. Dylan Cease is 1-0 with a 2.87 ERA versus the Pirates in 4 games in his career. Last game he pitched against them was on May 2nd. Only went 4 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 earned, had 3 strikeouts. Bailey Falter been pitching really well, and he pitched really well against this Padres team when he faced them. He went 7 innings, only gave up 2 hits, 1 earned run, and 6 Ks. I think that was when Luis Arias, maybe 1 or 2. They had a very thin lineup at that time, though, so kind of have to factor that in. But Falter's pitching really well. Padres have struggled against lefties, hitting 181 over the past 2 weeks, 161 over the past week. So, don't know if I have a lot of faith in... I never have faith in Dylan Cease, so let me be honest. He's just too wild, too erratic. This is one... It would probably be Pirates or nothing for me in this spot if I'm going to bet it. And then maybe lean towards a first 5 under, but I just don't know if I can get there with Dylan Cease. So in terms of the weather, going to be 17% chance of rain, so probably not going to rain. And we got a 5-mile-an-hour wind that's going to be blowing out slightly. So on paper, both of these teams have been really bad. I mean, we look at these lineups over the past 2 weeks. Pirates have a WRC plus of 72. Padres 55. Just not a lot of people getting it done on this squad. So just don't know if I can get there. I think there's value taking the Pirates on a bounce back win tonight. All right, last game on our card is going to be the Nats and the D-backs. Brandon Pfaadt going up against Michael Soroka. 2 pitchers I don't trust. Soroka got a 5.5 ERA in 3 away games. Brandon Pfaadt has almost a 6 ERA in 6 home games, giving up a pretty robust 3.19 average to righties. Is pitching okay to lefties at 200. Soroka just kind of giving it up from both sides of the dish. This is one where I don't think you're going to contain this Nats offense. I think they're going to score runs. If they don't score many off Pfaadt, they'll probably get it off this bullpen that is 28th in the MLB now with a 6.75 ERA. Nationals bullpen is showing a lot of progress. They're still 21st over the last 30 days, but that ERA has come down significantly. It's down to 4.52 as opposed to like 6.7 a couple weeks ago. So if we look at Pfaadt, he's faced this Nats team 2 times, and he's got a 5 ERAs, 1-1. Last time he pitched against them was earlier this season on April 4th at Nationals Park. And he went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 earned. He's given up 3 or more earned runs in 4 of his last 5 games. So I love runs in this spot. We're going to take the Nats team total over, and we're going to take the over 9 again. I think this shouldn't be. I don't think it's going to be as free as last night, but I do expect it to be significantly over that 9. All right, so let's get into our best bets. Get you guys on your way. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what your favorite pick is down below. All right, first play. We already talked about them, but Nats team total over 3.5. I like this at -125. Let's hope Wood stays hot. This dude's been on an absolute tear. And then we're going to take the full game over 9. And then we're going to take the Giants and the Mets. We're going to combine them. We still only get -106 because the Mets are just ridiculous favorites. Then we're going to take the Phillies on the money line. We're going to take the Yankees and the Dodgers. Game total over 7. I think that should be a fairly safe number. And I love the Phillies today. I just hate paying -190 something for them. And then our last play is going to be the Tampa Bay Houston under 8.5. So those are my 5 best bets. Appreciate you guys tuning in to the channel, and I'll catch you in tomorrow's video.